What sacrifice did you make that others didn't appreciate? 8 years ago, my brother Mike's wife died giving birth to their daughter Tiffany. He fell apart completely. He wouldn't hold Tiffany, look at her, or even stay in the same room. At the funeral, he handed me the baby and walked out. I called him for 3 days straight with no answer. When I finally drove to his house, I found empty bottles everywhere and him passed out on the couch. Tiffany was still with me. For 6 weeks, I kept calling. Mike would answer occasionally, always drunk, always saying he just needed time. I was 29, single, working as an office manager. I had no plans for children, but there was Tiffany with no one else to care for her. After 2 months, Mike showed up at my apartment. He looked terrible. He put a duffel bag of baby things on my floor and said, "I can't do this." He signed temporary guardianship papers the next day. No discussion of when he'd take her back, no offer of child support. He just left. I took a second job waiting tables on weekends. My parents had passed years earlier and Mike was my only family. I moved to a 2-bedroom apartment that stretched my budget to breaking. At Christmas, Mike sent a card with $50. No visit. Tiffany was 4 months old. By her first birthday, I'd created a routine. Daycare during office hours, the baby strapped to my chest during weekend shifts. My manager let me bring her when I couldn't find a sitter. Mike called once that day, didn't mention it was her birthday. He asked if she was walking yet. I told him she wasn't. He said he'd visit soon. He didn't. When Tiffany turned 2, I started showing her photos of her mother. I told her simple stories. Your mommy loved the beach. Your mommy sang beautiful songs. Mike visited twice that year. Awkward 2-hour stretches where he barely interacted with her. He brought toys she was too young for. He didn't ask about her development or her personality. For her 3rd birthday, I took Tiffany to the zoo. I saved for months for that trip. That night, Mike called to say he was moving 2 states away for a job opportunity. He promised to send money when he could. In 3 years, he'd sent a total of $600. I started taking Tiffany to a child therapist when she began asking more questions about her parents. The therapist helped me create a memory book about her mother. We put in photos, stories I remembered, dried flowers from the funeral. By kindergarten, Tiffany was calling me Aunt Relia, but introducing me to teachers as her mom. I never corrected her. I worked day shifts at the office and night shifts at a restaurant 3 days a week. We had a small but stable life. Mike visited once that year, for 4 hours. He brought a bike she couldn't ride yet. He asked no questions about school. When Tiffany turned 6, I finally got a promotion that meant I could quit the restaurant job. We moved to a better apartment with a small yard. I took her to Disney World with my bonus money. I sent Mike photos. He replied with a thumbs up emoji. That Christmas, he sent a card saying he was seeing someone new named Daya. Last year, when Tiffany was 7, Mike visited with Daya. It was the first time in almost 3 years he'd seen her. Tiffany was shy, hiding behind me. Mike seemed annoyed by this. They stayed for dinner. Mike asked if Tiffany knew about her mother. I showed him the memory book we'd made, all the stories we'd collected. He flipped through it quickly, then put it down. "You should have consulted me on what to tell her," he said. I reminded him that he'd been largely absent for 7 years. 3 months ago, Mike called to say he and Daya had gotten married. He said they'd bought a house with a bedroom for Tiffany. He said it was time for her to come home. I was shocked silent. Tiffany had never even spent a night away from me since she was 2 months old. "She is home," I said. 2 weeks later, I received legal papers. Mike was terminating my guardianship and demanding immediate custody. His letter claimed I had alienated Tiffany from him, that I had taken advantage of his grief to steal his child. He said I had poisoned her against him by telling her stories about her mother without his input. The court date was set for next month. I hired a lawyer with my savings. The lawyer said that while Mike is the biological parent, courts consider the child's best interest and stability. But Mike's letter to the court claimed I had manipulated the situation from the beginning, that he had been coerced into signing the guardianship while medically depressed. Yesterday, Mike called. He said if I cooperated with a transition plan, he wouldn't make things difficult for me. He said I could have reasonable visitation if I didn't fight him. Then he said something that stunned me. "You never even wanted kids before this," he said. "You told everyone that." It was true. Before Tiffany, I hadn't planned on children. "Now you've had your practice run," he continued. "Daya and I want a family, and Tiffany is my daughter. You've had her long enough." Tiffany overheard this conversation. Later, she asked if she had to go live with the man from Christmas. She couldn't even remember to call him Dad or Uncle Mike. I told her I was doing everything to keep her with me. The judge granted me full custody yesterday, ruling that 8 years of love and stability outweighed blood ties to a father who had chosen to disappear.